Alright guys, so I got the engine out, got it all scrubbed up. I use gunk. This is what gunk is if you don't know. It's an engine degreaser. I got the foamy stuff, which evidently is weaker than the original and heavy duty gel, but like most gearheads, I watch the Motor Trend channel, specifically Roadkill. And they said that the foamy and the heavy duty gels, they stick to surfaces better. The original is kind of, I guess, more liquid, so it runs off, but the foamy and the gel stick better. So I don't know if the original would have gotten ate up the grease better than this foamy stuff, but that's what I got because it sticks. And Napa didn't have the heavy gel, so I didn't get that. So I did this and the inside and the undercarriage of the Jeep, so that's all done. Didn't really eat up the that undercoat paint that I had in there as well as I would have liked, but good enough for who it's for. So what we're gonna do is I want to get this down to a short block, which is just the block with the pistons and the crank and the cam inside the engine. All the front accessories come off, the timing belt cover and timing belt come off, and the head come off. So we're going to try to get this down to a short block. What we're going to do first is drop the pan. And I was watching another deal called Jalopnik. It's another YouTube channel, and apparently the way you have to do this is you drop the pan before you underneath like this, like you would in a car, instead of rolling it over on your engine stand, because all of the gunk and crap and little metal shavings that are in there will come up into the head, and you're going to have to clean them out. Well, not the head, but they'll come all throughout the block, and you're going to have to clean it out. So the oil pan's going to come off first, and it's going to come off in this orientation. I'm going to drop it out like you would out of a car. And then we're going to do the front housing, the front accessories, the water pump here, the thermostat, and the, I don't know, because I might need a puller to get the this harmonic balancer / main pulley off of here, so I don't know if I can get at the timing chain yet, but I want to, so we'll see if I can do that. And once all that's done, we're going to take the head off and disassemble the head. So all the valves are coming out, the rocker assembly is coming out, all the push rods. Well, that's really all there is in a head, so that's coming apart. I am going to do a lot of time-lapsing for this. I'll try to leave little annotations in the video so that you can skip them if you want to. But alright, so that's what I've done so far. So let's get going on the time-lapse. So I got the pan off. It's over here. We'll try to see if you can see the oil in there. If you can see it, maybe you can see it. It doesn't look old. It's not black. It's barely even brown. And that's because, like I said before, this thing was leaking like a sieve, and I was putting about a quart of oil a day into it. But I did look through it. Doesn't look like there's any metal shavings or anything like that, so I didn't destroy this by running it with it leaking a bunch of oil. I think I was pretty good about staying on top of it. but I did make a mistake while taking off the pan. So there are two bolts on the pan, two styles. There's a 1/2 inch and they're in the four corners. Two of them back there go on the rear main seal. Two of them up here go around the timing cover. And I loosened those up so that the pan would fall onto that before it fell off. So I wanted something to catch it. And then I went around and took off all of the, I think that they're 11/16 bolts. So I thought that I took all of those 11/16 bolts off, but I missed two. One up here in the middle here where this timing cover is. It's dead center in the middle of the engine. I missed that one. And there was another one over here underneath where the distributor goes in that I missed. And I thought that whoever put this together last used, I don't know, a super adhesive or something to get it on there. So I went at it with a couple of screwdrivers, popping it loose, which was wrong. I'll admit that. And I messed up the mating surfaces here between the block and the oil pan. So I'm probably going to have to use some kind of RTV or some kind of filler in there when I put it back together. Because I messed that up. So just for future reference, for me more than for you, there is a bolt in the middle, and before you go wailing on stuff, go around, check to see that you got everything, run your fingers along it, you know. So, lesson learned. Alright, so we're going to move on to the thermostat here and the water pump. We'll get both of those off. I don't know if I'll do the timing chain right now because, like I said, I think that I'm going to have to get a puller to pull this harmonic balancer or main pulley, I don't know exactly what this is, off of there. So I'm going to need a puller to pull this off, and then I can take the harmonic balancer off. I'll have to see if we have one. I'm not sure if we do. But yeah, all right, let's get going on these two. Alrighty then, so the water pump and the thermostat are off. If you don't know, this right here is cylinder number 1. All this outside of here is the water jacket. Up here is the, I don't know if you'd call it a coolant reservoir. It's not, because the radiator is kind of the reservoir, but this is where coolant is when it's in the head. And the thermostat goes in here. So yeah, these are off. I scraped the gasket off as best as I could. I'm gonna wait till I get this timing cover off to get the rest of this here off. So that's those. Here's the water pump. What surprised me is the pulley for it. Actually, you can just take it off. You don't need a puller or anything. It kind of wiggles off because I guess it's because it's held on by these bolts here. So that was easier to get off than I thought. And something that it doesn't look like when it's on there is that these bolts go in kind of a rectangular pattern. They looked like they were on there randomly, but it's just because it's in a diagonal. So yeah, 4 bolts, and this comes off pretty easily. Something else that I thought was cool was the impeller on this. The ones that I've seen before, they're not car water pumps. They're for pools, and they look more like a pinion gear in a differential, rather than this kind of, I guess, water wheel shape deal. So that's that. That came off relatively easily. This is the thermostat. So now I don't really want to explain what a thermostat does because I'll do it poorly, but here we go. I'm going to give it a shot. What they do is they make it so that the coolant that's in the block stays in the block until the engine gets to operating temperature. And the operating temperature is determined by whatever is in here. I'm guessing it might be mercury or something, or wax. And when the mercury or wax gets to a certain temperature, it melts, liquefies, I guess, and the spring is activated, which opens it and allows the coolant to go into the radiator and cool off and then cool down the engine. Now I'm going to save this, even though I have another one coming in the in my rebuild kit, just in case something happens and I either break the new one or it doesn't come. So I don't know if I've already ruined this by taking it off, or if this and the gasket were one piece. I don't really know, but I'm saving that. This also had a rusty bolt in it. I don't know why these are rusty. I'm guessing some water got up inside of there. But that, and then it also has this stud down here. So these are the two deals that mount this together. That mount this thermostat housing to the block, to the head. All right, so that's these. These are off now. What we're going to try to do now is take the head off. Now, something that I realized while I was taking this stuff off was I'm going to have to take off the rockers first before I can remove the head, because a couple of these springs are under tension. I guess it would be, that looks like an intake. So intake and exhaust. These two are open. These two valves are open, which means there's tension on this spring. So what's going to happen is, if I try to take these head bolts off right now, these springs are going to try to pull the head up, and I don't want that happening. So I'm going to be taking off all the rockers first. We'll leave actually, since I'm taking off the rockers, I guess we'll take the push rods out, and then we'll just take the head off. And then we'll start taking the valves out after that. So, all right, let's get going on it.